What happens when a legendary actor refuses to play along with the talk show host who thinks she can dominate anyone? You're about to witness one of the most explosive live meltdowns in daytime television history. Joy Behar thought she could corner Gary Oldman with her usual tactics, but she had no idea she was about to meet her match. By the end of this interview, Joy stormed off her own show, leaving millions of viewers stunned and her co-hosts scrambling to salvage the moment. Before we dive into this unforgettable confrontation, make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a comment, because you won't believe how this all went down. It started like any other Tuesday morning on The View. The studio buzzed with the usual pre-show energy as makeup artists added finishing touches and producers ran through last-minute notes. Gary Oldman was scheduled to appear in the second segment to promote his latest movie, a gritty drama about corruption in local politics. What should have been a routine promotional interview was about to turn into television history. Joy Behar sat at her familiar spot at the table, coffee in hand, already ready with what she thought were her killer questions. She had done her research, or so she believed. Gary Oldman's career spanned decades of transformative roles, but Joy focused on something else entirely. She was fixated on offhand comments Oldman had made months earlier in a British interview about American politics. As the show returned from commercial break, Whoopi Goldberg introduced their guest smoothly. Gary Oldman walked onto the set with his usual quiet confidence, waving to the audience before sitting down. The applause was genuine, the kind you give when someone with real talent appears. Gary Oldman, everyone, Whoopi said as the applause died down. "Thank you so much for having me," Oldman replied in his measured English accent. "It's a pleasure to be here." The conversation started normally. Whoopi asked about his preparation for the role, and Oldman spoke eloquently about his research, the people he had met, and the importance of telling authentic stories about power and corruption. Other hosts joined in with thoughtful questions about his process and the film's relevance to today's world. Then Joy Behar leaned forward, that familiar spark in her eyes signaling trouble. "Gary, I need to ask about something," she said, her voice taking on the investigative tone she reserved for guests she wanted to corner. "A few months ago, you made comments about American voters that I found concerning. You suggested that people here don't really understand the issues they vote on." The studio went quiet. Oldman's face stayed neutral, though there was a slight tightening around his eyes. "I'm not sure I follow," he said calmly. "Could you clarify what comments you mean?" Joy pulled out a printed sheet. "You said, and I quote, that American political discourse has become so polarized that voters on both sides often make decisions based on emotion rather than facts. That seems pretty condescending to me." Oldman paused before replying. "Joy, if you're quoting me, perhaps you should provide the full context." That interview was about the responsibility of artists to present complex issues in nuanced ways, not about judging entire populations. "But you did say it," Joy pressed, her voice rising slightly. "I'm not denying it," Oldman said, his tone calm but firm. "What I am saying is that taking a small portion of a longer conversation and presenting it out of context is exactly the kind of thing that adds to the problem you seem to worry about." The tension was thick. The other hosts exchanged glances, unsure if they should intervene. The audience sensed that something major was unfolding. Joy wasn't backing down. "Context or no context, Gary. You're a guest here, making your money here, and then you go overseas and criticize how Americans think and vote. Isn't that hypocritical?" That's when Oldman's demeanor changed. Politeness remained, but steel showed underneath. "Now, a guest in your country?" Oldman repeated slowly. "I've paid more in taxes than most people see in a lifetime. I've raised my children here, built a life here, contributed to communities. The idea that having a British accent makes me some outsider is not just wrong, it's insulting." The audience murmured. Some were uncomfortable with Joy's line of questioning, while others were intrigued by the confrontation. Joy doubled down. "I'm not saying you're unwelcome, Gary. I'm saying maybe you should be more grateful for what America has given you instead of criticizing the people who made your success possible." "Grateful," Oldman said, his voice calm but carrying weight. Joy. Gratitude doesn't mean silence. True gratitude, the kind that comes from caring about people and places, sometimes means asking tough questions and having uncomfortable conversations. Whoopi tried to redirect. Maybe we should talk about the film. But Joy wasn't stopping. That's a nice way to put it, Gary. But what I heard was you looking down on American voters, like we're too dumb to understand our own country. Oldman set down his water and looked directly at her. Joy, I've sat through many challenging interviews. What you're doing now isn't journalism. It's not even good TV. You've taken a conversation about the role of media and stripped it of context to attack me personally. If anyone's talking down to people here, it's you, assuming your audience can't handle nuance. The silence after his measured words was deafening. Joy's face flushed red. Excuse me, she said, voice cracking. I think you're being dramatic. I'm asking real questions. You've accused me of being ungrateful, misrepresented my words, and tried to create controversy that didn't exist. That's your idea of legitimate journalism? Oldman replied evenly. No. Joy shot back. I can speak for myself. You seem to have a problem with Americans having opinions about your opinions. Isn't that elitist? Oldman raised an eyebrow, a hint of amusement showing. Elitist? Joy, you're on national TV misquoting me and attacking me for defending myself. If we're talking elitist behavior, maybe look in the mirror. The audience gasped audibly. Joy's face went from red to purple. How dare you? You come on our platform and lecture me about journalism? I've been doing this longer than you've made movies in this country. Oldman replied calmly. Experience doesn't always mean wisdom or professionalism. Joy shot up from her chair, rolling it backward violently. I'm not sitting here being insulted by someone who thinks his British accent makes him superior. Joy, please, Whoopi interjected. But Joy wasn't listening. This is exactly what's wrong with Hollywood and media. They come here, make millions, and then act like we're beneath them. I've had enough. Oldman stayed seated, hands folded. Joy, I never suggested anyone is beneath me. You've behaved unprofessionally, proving my point spectacularly. You want to see unprofessional? That's being on a talk show acting too good to answer questions, Joy screamed. I've answered every question, Oldman replied calmly. I just won't let you misrepresent my words or attack me. Maybe we should take a commercial break, Sarah Haynes suggested. No, Joy shouted. I want everyone to see this. Everyone should see how Hollywood elites feel about regular Americans. Oldman finally stood, his presence commanding the stage. Joy, I've spent my career understanding human nature. Right now, I'm watching someone so desperate to be right, terrified to be challenged. She's embarrassing herself on national TV rather than admit a mistake. I didn't make a mistake, Joy screamed. Perhaps not, Oldman said quietly. His calm delivery seemed to break something in Joy. She turned to producers. Get him out. Either he goes, or I do. Whoopi stepped forward. Joy, let's calm down. No, Whoopi. They make millions and act like we're beneath them. I'm done. Oldman calmly replied. Joy, I never said anyone is beneath me. You're proving my point about unprofessional behavior. Unhinged now, Joy yelled, spittle flying. I'll show unprofessional. You come here and act too good to answer questions. Oldman stayed composed. I've answered all your questions. I haven't let you twist my words. If that makes you uncomfortable, that's not my problem. The chaos escalated. Joy demanded security, pointing at Oldman like he was a criminal. The audience began to boo, unsure of what to think. Oldman walked calmly toward the exit, shaking hands with co-hosts, ignoring Joy. This is what's wrong with the country, Joy yelled after him. Finally, Anna Navarro tried to reason. Joy, maybe you should. Maybe I should what? Joy snapped. Apologize for standing up to someone who thinks he's better than us. The studio was in complete chaos. Audience buzzing, hosts bewildered, producers panicking. Whoopi tried to regain control. Joy, we need to get back to the show. I can't pretend that what happened is okay. Joy whispered. I spent 20 minutes trying to destroy a man because I was too lazy to understand his words. She unhooked her microphone. It's been an honor working with you all, but I can't sit at this table knowing I attacked someone for thinking differently. She walked out, leaving the cameras rolling and the hosts stunned. Whoopi turned to the camera, quietly saying, "We'll be right back." The empty chair became an iconic image, a reminder that sometimes the most dramatic exits come from seeing yourself clearly, not anger. So, what do you think? Was Gary Oldman right to stand his ground, or should he have just gone along with Joy's questions? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more incredible TV stories. The drama never stops, and neither do we.